I'm sick. And I have been sick. Sorry, that wasn't planned. I'm sick. And I have been sick for over a week. I think it's a sinus infection. Who's to say? I'm not a doctor. My parents are. And I am in the middle of, let's see, 1, 2, 3. I'm in the middle of 3 books right now. And because I'm sick, it's hard for me to focus on anything. So I figured this is the best time to read trash. So I'm going to read The Selection. I'm going to see how far I can get into all 3 of these books within the next 3 days, I guess. It's not a readathon, or like a 24-hour readathon, because I want to sleep. I need sleep. I don't know how you people who do readathons all the time do it. Could not be me. Really could not. If I don't get sleep, I go crazy. And so, yeah. And honestly, this is not even like a book that should be read right now, because arguably The Hunger Games is more popular right now. It's poppin'. Everyone and their mom's doing a video like that. And while I love The Hunger Games, love that book series, I don't want to read it right now. I want to read trash. And you could also say, arguably, no one wants to see this video. But to you, I would say, this commenter wanted to see this video. And honestly, all I need is one person to give me permission. And that's all I needed. That's all I needed. So we're going to read about a girl who keeps on saying she's not beautiful, but clearly she's beautiful, who enters into a competition to win the heart of the next king, Maxon. And this girl's name is America Singer. She lives in what used to be America, and she is a singer. She's got red hair. That's the gist. That's what this book series is about. And it's very much so, like, I feel like everything is like America's Next Top Model. I don't know why. I feel like I have to compare everything to that show, because that show has my heart and soul, because I watched that show religiously when I was growing up. Did that cause some interesting thoughts to be had in my child brain? And did it affect me growing up? Possibly. But I also feel like I compare everything to it. So this feels like The Bachelor plus America's Next Top Model plus a dystopian. There's like some weird war stuff that happens in this. I don't even remember. I've read this book series multiple times, and I will read it again multiple times. So let's get it poppin'. This will have lots of spoilers if I remember to update things. So let's get it. Is it terrible that I unironically love this book? Look at this. One can never help being born into perfection, I whispered. He came close, wrapping an arm around my waist so that we faced each other. His nose tickled mine. He ran his fingers across my cheeks so gently it seemed he was afraid I would break. No, I don't suppose you can, he breathed. With his hand holding my face toward his, he lowered his lips to mine and gave me the faintest whisper of a kiss. Something about the tentativeness of it made me feel beautiful. Without a word, I could understand how excited he was to have this moment, but then afraid at the same time. And deeper than any of that, I sensed that he adored me. Honestly, that's not even, like, we haven't started yet. That's just a little, like, excerpt of, like, what's to come. And you don't know who it's gonna be, because obviously there's a love triangle. Like, come on! Can you, like, no. That's amazing. Okay? Okay. I'm gonna read. Bye. Okay, we're in chapter 1, page 8, and we're already getting the me, I'm not pretty, because America Singer has just gotten the letter that says that we can see from our census that you have an eligible daughter between the ages of this, and this. And, you know, you should put your name into the ring for the princess-ship. And America's mother is like, and of course he would love America. She's so beautiful. And of course, America has to say, please, Mom, if anything, I'm average. Honey, you're not average. Oh my gosh, the fake, like, I like to say humility. I know it's humility, but the humility, no. And so we're in this house with the singers, and we're getting to know the dynamics of their household. So they are fives? Yes, their caste system. So the singers are fives, who are the artists and musicians of the economy. And they are 3 steps away from being like the riffraff, if you will. And even though they are fives and they have, it looks like they have enough, like they're able to eat, like they're not a 6, okay? They're still like, hey, if you could like surpass this and become royalty, why wouldn't you? I mean, I would too. I would too. In fact, I did think about going on The Bachelor with the old Bachelor, the golden one. And honestly, I think I should have gone on. I should have been one of, like, listen, that, I don't watch The Bachelor, but I feel like that season would have been like so much better if there had been a bunch of older women like there were, and then one young woman, and it would have been me, and I would have killed. Anyways, back to the book. So we're getting to know these people and their family, and they have, I think America is one of 5 children. She's the middle child of 5, and she has an older sister who's gotten married and is off. She has an older brother who is a little bit of a, the black sheep in the family. She has a younger sister named May, and a younger brother who hasn't found his talent yet. And basically, they're just like, hey, America, do this so we can have some more money. And you're really pretty. But, and I haven't gotten here because I'm only on page 9 because we haven't been introduced yet to Aspen. But I know from reading this before that we're going to get to know Aspen, who is her secret lover. Not really her secret lover, though, because they're not allowed to do the na-na until they're married. That's like completely forbidden. And they could go to jail for that. So that's something to note. They have a lot of chastity belts in this society. And yeah, she does not want to be put into this thing because she thinks she's already got her life set. She's like, I got a man, I don't need anything else. I'm okay with becoming a 6, but Aspen does not want that for her. So that is important to note. And not 2 pages later, in comes one of I think the worst character in this novel, the Gale of this novel, if you are speaking in Hunger Game references. Aspen, who is Miss America's secret lover, and they meet in the treehouse. And he, like, the reason why I hate this person so much is because he literally breaks her heart within the first, like, 10 chapters. What are you doing? And the fact that America will keep moping over this idiot is just ridiculous. So, yeah, there's that. So since Aspen is of the lower caste, that is the 6s, it is not the norm for a woman to marry down in the hierarchy. So, but you just have to wait a little bit longer. You have like some hoops to jump through, but it's done. But of course, Aspen doesn't want this for America because he loves her so much. And he is a little hopeful because his sisters, who are twins, have also received this letter in the mail saying, hey, you can sign up to, win a prince. And so then America gets it all in her big head that if one of his sisters becomes a 1, that elevates him to a 1, I believe. So everybody in your family gets the privilege of being boosted. And so she's like, hey, this 1 in a million chance could happen, and then we could be together. But obviously that's not going to happen. I don't know what it is about Kiera Cass's writing style, but it oozes, it reeks of teen. And that's, I think, what makes this book so great for teens, because it seems like a teenager wrote it. So because Aspen is this Hunger Games Gale ripoff, like budget Walmart version, he has a lot of like self-pity and a lot of anger, and he is the one who, funnily enough, convinces America to sign up for the selection, because he's like, you need a better life than what I can give you, blah, 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 even though I love you, he don't love her. And so he is the one that manages to make her sign up for this. And I guess my question is, if you read the Selection series back in the day, did you actually root for Aspen versus Maxon? I really want to know. Because I also wonder, did anyone did anyone ship Gale over PETA in the Hunger Games? I also really want to know about that, because I feel like that's kind of like if you were to, okay, I'm just comparing these to a bunch of things. So that's kind of like if you shipped Bella with Jacob rather than Edward. Why would you do that? Why? Are you okay? But the comparisons don't stop there. Like, Aspen is such a Gale archetype. He even has like a father that died a while ago. He has a lot of siblings. Like, he watched his little brother Jemmy get whipped. Like, there's a lot of stuff. Well, actually, no, I don't think that happened in the Hunger Games. But, yeah, I just don't like Aspen. I really hate him. I hated him from the beginning. I was like, there has to be someone better than this, I don't have a good word for him. This derp? I don't know. I'm trying not to cuss. Yeah, I don't like him. So, next, I can't wait till she goes into the selection and finds Maxon. Oh. Okay, here's something I don't really understand, though. So, when America's in line to go and take her picture to put in her application of sorts, she meets up with Aspen's mother and his sisters, and they're like, hey, America, like, you look so pretty. She's like, no, I don't. And then they go, no, but, like, Aspen says, like, that, the singer daughters have inherited a lot of beauty, blah, blah, blah. And then they say that Aspen's been looking really, really happy lately. And America goes, like, in her head, lately? We've been meeting for nearly 2 years. Why only lately? And then they're like, oh yeah, we think he's seeing somebody in secret. And she assumes that it's her. She's like, oh yeah, he's just really happy because of me, and I think that he's gonna, like, propose to somebody soon. And she assumes it's her, obviously, because why would she not? Like, they've been meeting in secret for 2 years in their treehouse, and they've been, like, canoodling for that long. But here's where I don't remember, because I haven't reread this series in a long time. Did he have somebody on the side? Like, was that just a thing? Or, like, I can't remember. Was he playing her the entire time? I don't know. Anyways, I'm just trying to get to the part where we go off to the train, and we go off to, do they go on a plane? Where they basically go to the castle. I'm looking forward to that, when things start to get dramatic. And we've reached the big blow up, because since America only put her name in the lottery to appease Aspen, but her mother thinks that she did it to appease her. So her mother said, hey, if you do this thing for me, I'm going to let you keep all the money you make for the jobs you do. Which, really, she should have had that money anyways, because, Coogan accounts, right? And because she has the money, she makes Aspen a big feast, but then Aspen gets all butthurt because he's a man and he has his pride, man. He has his pride. And he's like, it's okay when you give me your leftovers, but don't be giving me, like, don't be using your money to pay for me. Like I said, a man's pride. And so then he ends up breaking up with her because of that reason, and this, that, and the other. But yeah, so we've reached that point, my favorite point, because then Aspen's out of the way. So we've now had the announcement of who the 35 selected girls shall be. And of course, we got one Miss America singer. I keep wanting to say America Ferrera, and it's really bringing me, like, a lot of trouble in my mind. But she gets chosen. She's selected because she's so beautiful. And Then we have this person that comes to her house to tell her all the rules, this, that, and the other, to tell her, you know, we need to make sure that you are indeed a Regina because, you know, it's against the law to not be here. But also, when you get to the palace, don't deny Prince Maxon anything, whether it be a walk or a kiss or a little nookie. So it's like, stay a virgin unless Prince Maxon asks you to not be a virgin. And so, you know, America sees the dissonance in that statement. But yeah, now we're gonna go off to the races. Okay, we're finally getting to where this becomes Miss Congeniality. So we've met Miss Rhode Island. Her name is Marley Kent, and we also met a Miss Ashley from another place that's made up. And oh yeah, we just left everybody in the hometown, and Aspen showed up with another girl and his arms around her waist, and so that's another reason to dock points from Aspen. Honestly, who ships Aspen in America? Who? And but then when she's about to leave, Aspen goes and like runs after her and is like, America, and it's like, homie, you had your chance. You literally like dumped her like, I don't know, a week ago, and then kept on making up these crappy excuses like, well, you know, I just like, I need you to have more money, I can't make you a 6, and like the draft is coming, I might be drafted, who knows, you could be a widower. Like, make up your mind, homie. Anyways, Miss Congeniality's starting. Ooh, Celeste has entered the chat. It's time for makeovers. So I love this book, unironically, but one of the pet peeves I have is that America herself is so contradictory. Like, literally on, well, it's not literally on the same page, but on one page, page 99 to page 100, there is a discrepancy. She says, when she's about to go to her rooms, because they've done their whole makeover and the first interview before the next day they meet Maxon, which is my favorite part. I love Maxon. I cannot wait. But she literally says, I gulped. Too many rules, too much structure, too many people. I just wanted to be alone with a violin. Then when she gets to her rooms and she like dismisses her maids, she sees that there was a violin in the corner, as well as a guitar and a gorgeous piano, but I couldn't bring myself to bother with them. You just said you wanted to play the violin, honey. Which is it? And that is part of the wishy-washiness that is America Ferrera. I mean, singer. Because I'm just going to call her America Ferrera in my head from now on. Is that cool with you? Cool. You're welcome. I opened my window or my shutters so that it doesn't look like this is such a dungeon. And also, I just realized that I haven't brushed my hair in days. Anyways, so my life is perking up because we have just had a bunch of stuff happen. Not a bunch. This is a very slow-moving book, you guys, and it's only 300 pages long, so keep that in mind. But we have just had America have like a little panic meltdown moment. She had a panic attack, and the castle was starting to feel a little like a prison to her, you know, because there's these rebels who just might storm the castle and kill everybody. And honestly, I'm really not sure what these rebels or who these rebels belong to and what kind of war we're fighting. I have read this book multiple times and I still don't know. But that's beside the point. So we have Little Miss America going around trying to get into the fresh air, trying to go down into the garden. And the guards don't want to let her. But you know who's going to let her? Prince Maxon, because he's a prince. He's a Prince Charming. He's amazing. And we're about to have their first scene together. So I'm about to read this. So watch me read this. Okay? Okay. Okay, so my first thoughts are, I hate America. And my second thought is that they are perfect for each other. Honestly, the fact that America's like yelling at him after he just helped her out. He just helped her out of her panic attack and let her go out into the garden. So you should be a little more grateful, my dear. Let him call her his dear. I don't understand why that's such a terrible term of endearment to her. I get that she doesn't know him, he doesn't know her, but also he's a prince who doesn't have a lot of friends, just like you don't have a lot of friends, honey. Like, the parallels are there. But also on the fact that I don't like America, it's just the fact that she's like, don't call me that. I am no more dear to you than the 34 other strangers you have here in your cage. Okay, so a cage implies that they don't want to be there, that they're being held against their will. Nobody forced you to put your name into the ring. I don't think it's a very mandatory act to put your name into the selection. So unless I'm mistaken, I don't think I am. She's just giving off extremely unlikable energy right now. We just had our first round of cuts. Prince Maxon came in when they were learning how to use their fork and knife correctly, and he had a little one-on-one with each of the girls, and he honestly was like, hey, yo, America, level with me. Do you think you could ever have feelings for me? And she said, nah. And he said, cool. And then for whatever reason, it's because she said, he was like, do you want me to just send you home then? Like, you don't need to be taking up a spot when you don't need one. And she's like, actually, I could kind of use the money. My family could use the money. And I kind of like the food here. So would you want me to be your friend? And, Maxon, he doesn't have a lot of friends. So they have a little bargain happening. And this is the cutest part of the story. Like, they're becoming friends. Little Maxie has a friend. And then he's like, okay, if I asked you to stay here, stay. The rest of the girls get to getting. And so as America's like going into the next room, she's like, what happened to the girls? And then Chris, one of the other contestants, like, they're gone, honey. They're gone. So the first cuts, now they're down to 27 girls, which is good because honestly, you don't even get all of their names. But I can't wrap my head around that many females in a room. So we need to get most of the girls gone so that I can analyze the ones that actually have a chance with Maxon. So yeah. I keep forgetting this book is funny. America's on a little stroll with Maxon, and they're talking about their families, their parents, and during this walk, America's like getting a little bit tense, and Maxon can sense it, and he's like, are you all right? You seem tense. And she's like, you get confused by crying women, I get confused by walks with princes. And then he says, what about me is so confusing? She says, your character, your intentions. I'm not sure what to expect out of this little stroll. Then he goes, ah. He stopped walking and faced me. We were very close to each other, and in spite of the warm summer air, a chill ran down my spine. I think you can tell by now that I'm not the type of man to beat around the bush. I'll tell you exactly what I want from you. And then it says, Maxon took a step closer. My breath caught in my throat. I just walked into the very situation I feared. No guards, no cameras, no one to stop him from doing whatever he wanted. Knee-jerk reaction. Literally. I need his majesty in the thigh, hard. Okay, I thought it was going to say, she need him in his crown jewels. That's not actually that bad. But yeah, there's just like an awkward encounter with the two of them, which I think is hella funny. And, I mean, I don't blame her for having that thought, because it literally says earlier in the book that she's not allowed to refuse him anything. And, like, that's the thing. She has a bunch of preconceived notions about him because of what people say that about him and what's expected of them if he should ask them for anything. So, I mean, you can't blame her for thinking that. But she didn't have to knee him. Apparently, America's also a liar because in her retelling of this story, she kneed Maxon in the knee. But there's a rebel attack happening right now. I don't care about this whole rebel thing. I just care about the romance at this point, throughout the entire series. And they're hiding from the rebels, and America decides to help batten the hatches or whatever. And as they're hiding, Maxon comes over to her and he's like, "You okay?" And she's like, "I just really, I'm worried about my maids." And he's like, "Your maids?" And she's like, "Yes, Maxon, they have lives too." And as they're talking, he's about to leave her. And she says, "About last night, let me explain. When they came to prep us to get us ready to come here, there was a man who told me that I was never to turn you down, no matter what you asked for, not ever." And he's like, "What?" And she says, "He made it sound like you might ask for certain things. And you said yourself that you hadn't been around many women after 18 years, and then you sent the cameras away. I just got scared when you came that close to me." And he's like, "Was everyone told this?" Because he's like, who's saying this about me?" And she's like, "I don't know. I can't imagine many girls would need such a warning. They're probably waiting to pounce on you." He says, "But you're not, so you had absolutely no qualms about kneeing me in the groin, right?" And she's like, "I hit your thigh." And he says, "Oh, please. A man doesn't need that long to recover from a knee to the thigh." So basically I'm like, what did she hit? What happened? Who am I supposed to believe? So that's what's happening now. This video is just a play-by-play of the book. Sorry. We just had a lovely scene in which Maxon and America were talking about home life, and he asked why she's so heartbroken, and she told him the story of her and stupid Aspen. And Maxon was a wonderful audience member. He gasped at all the right places. And after the fact, she's like, "I hope you find someone that you can't live without, and I hope you never have to try to live without them." And so at that point, he's like, "America, I'm making you a promise, and I promise that I won't kick you out until the very last moment." And yeah, you can tell that he's just a smitten kitten, and America does not deserve this man. Okay? She does not deserve this special treatment in this competition, because, homie, it's a competition. If I were in this fantastical competition, I'd be so pissed if a girl, roasted this man on the daily and still had his attention. Absolutely not. Page 260, a lot of stuff is happening, including little Maxon just being just an amazing sweetheart and wanting his first kiss to be with America because he really, really likes her. And for whatever reason, she has not understood that, because the main character is always dumb when it comes to how people feel about her. And now, what's happening? Oh, Maxon sent the poor people of his country a lot of food. So they took away some money from the girls, which I always thought was weird, that if you're no matter what caste you are, you still got money sent to your family, even if you had money to begin with. It didn't make sense. So he remedied that. And now we are having the king and queen from Swendway come and join the family. I don't remember this part of the book. I'm sorry to say. So yeah, we're gonna keep reading. I think I sound less sick. Feel free to contradict me in the comments, but I think I sound less sick, so that's amazing. So I think you can, you're gonna see a nice, what's the word? I don't have any words. Bye. 319 pages in, and the war is against New Asia. Found that out today.
And basically this far in, I have that much left. I will finish this before the end of the night. The things, what has happened thus far? So, Maxon and Maxon and, what's her name? America have had a fight where, oh yeah, she wanted to get Celeste kicked out because Celeste is one of those girls that sabotages. She's a saboteur. And, oh yeah, we had Aspen. The foreshadowing of the draft happened. It came to fruition. And Aspen is at still sick. Aspen has come to the castle, is a guard, and that then begins their love affair, their tryst again. So as much as America can say, oh my gosh, this man is like dating like 10 other people and cheating on me, she's also cheating on him now. So that's a thing. And let's see, what else is going to happen between now and the end of this book? Let's see. Oh, Maxon has just sent home all but 6 of the girls. So, and America, of course, is one of the 6. And she's like, I thought you were going to send me away. But then he doesn't. And we had another rebel attack. Another one. And that's what prompted him to send these girls away, because the castle's not quite so secure. Oh, and so Maxon's like, you know, I kept these girls for these reasons, like Marley because she's a crowd favorite, Celeste because she has a powerful family to align himself with, and you know, so on and so forth. And America's like, so why am I still here? Clearly fishing. And he says, America, if this were a simpler matter, I'd have eliminated everyone else by now. I know how I feel about you. Maybe it's impulsive of me to think I could be so sure, but I'm certain I would be happy with you. So clearly, he has made his intentions known. He loves this girl. He loves her. Why doesn't she know that? I'm just like, why? This is such a stupid book, but I love it. On to the next one.
Hey y'all, we're on day 2 and book 2, The Elite. I do have to say, the first book I said was Aspen 2-timing America. Apparently he wasn't, and it was like she tripped and she fell into my arms. Likely story. But yeah, we're on book 2, and I gave this book 3 stars. Okay, I gave book 1 back in the day 5 stars because I'm trash. And so I gave book 2 back in the day 3 stars because I was trash that time as well too. Because back in the day, I would give a book 2 stars if my ship didn't pan out the entire way of the book. If it was a roller coaster of emotions, that book would get 2 or 3 stars. So this was the case with this one. I'm 100 pages in so far. I dog-eared because I really don't care about messing this book up because it's trash. It's objectively bad, but I love it. Some things to note. This book has committed the cardinal sin of the character saying, I could care less, when really it's you could not care less. I'm a stickler for that rule because it makes no sense the other way around. And within the span of 100 pages, we have had America be besotted and go, oh my gosh, I love him, and then go, oh my gosh, I hate him, oh my gosh, but I still want him. So, and I'm still coughing. So that's where we are with this character. Basically, she's just seen that Maxon he hasn't put anyone to death, so she should thank her lucky stars. But he had to do something when these 2 characters, Marley, I said Marley Kent, no, Marley of Kent, Marley Thames, she was fooling around with her guard, Carter, and they got caught. So then they both got caned
which is kind of like whipping, but not really. So, and then, of course, America is in a tizzy because that could have easily been her because she's fooling around with Aspen. And honestly, America is the villain in this story because she is toying with these two men's hearts. So, yeah, we'll keep reading. Also, I've had a terrible morning because I realized I re-downloaded Instagram recently because somebody like was posting pictures of like in my personal Instagram. And so then I was like, oh wait, I have a Bookstagram. So I looked on that and I realized that Nell Diamond sent me a direct message in October and I just saw it because I'm trash. So sorry, Nell. I wasn't ignoring you. I just don't ever use Instagram. I delete it frequently. So sorry. Wow, I just forgot a lot of stuff that happened in this book. So, this man, Maxon, has just made it so that her best friend Marley, who got the caning, didn't have to go into obscurity of eighthood and literally keeps her in the palace as like I think she's a maid or something. Yeah, she's working in the kitchens. Like, America, you do not deserve Prince Maxon. You do not deserve anything that's coming to you. And honestly, this book kind of makes me feel like I did when I read Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Remember that book/movie where Charlie literally goes through the factory and then gets to the end and is like, so where's my prize? And Willy Wonka's like, you didn't obey my rules. You don't get a prize. But then he ends up getting a prize. Like, no. Cheaters never prosper. At least they shouldn't. So, yeah, this is... Honestly, I like this book series because I'm a fan of Maxon Shreve. I love him. What can I say? I think the funniest thing I've read in this book so far has been right when... So Maxon and his father have gone to New Asia because they're trying to, like, soothe the other countries because they're having, like, some infighting in Ilia because that's what the rebels are doing. And so while they're there, people aren't sure, like, if they've gotten there or what have you. They're like, oh no, like, are they hurt? This, that, and the other. And so there's like a whole hullabaloo, and Sylvia, their person that tells them how to behave, is like running around and like getting the queen and whispering, and the queen gasps, and then they run out of the room. And so then the girls start talking, and they say, does anyone know what happened? This is Celeste, looking abnormally concerned. And then Elise says, you don't think they're hurt, do you? And then Chris goes, oh no. And she puts her head down on the table. And then Natalie goes, it's okay, Chris. Have some pie. Natalie is the one weirdo in this group. Why is she still here? I've forgotten that I haven't really said who's still in the competition, who's in the running to become America's next top model. And so it's America Ferrera, Kris Jenner, Celeste. I don't have a funny last name for her. Natalie. Again, I don't have a funny name for her. And Elise. So they only had 2 funny names. So they are the final 5. And I also remember that I didn't like this book so much back in the Dizay because there's so few girls in the competition at this point. Like, no one gets eliminated until pretty much the last chunk of the book. Like, I'm this far through. Like, this is the chunk I've read, and this is what I have left. So, it's slow going for a very long time. I'm on page 225 out of, like, 323. So, I have less than 100 pages left. And, yeah, slow going. It's a lot about the rebels, and it's a lot about America jerking these 2 men around. Yanking their chains. And I just don't think it's fair. Like, she literally, she has a boyfriend
is still seeing this boyfriend and is not been kicked out yet because no one really knows. She hit Celeste, and while Celeste had it coming, like Anna, who hit Celeste, who gave her a good slapping in the first book, got sent home right quick. So she does everything wrong and still benefits. Like, at this point, I'm pulling for Chris. Chapter 25, the end of it, Maxon finally finds his backbone and is like, yo, America, stop playing with my heart. And, you know, if you want me, let me know. Let a guy know. And she's all, well, I just don't know if I'm ready for this responsibility. And it's like, homie, that's the name of this game. Like, she's really pissing me off. This is why I gave this book 3 stars. But I think it was a low blow for little Maxon to go, that wasn't where I wanted the conversation to go either. Maybe I should leave. And then she's like, I could hear in his voice that he wanted me to ask him to stay, to tell him this was all going to work itself out. And then she goes, I think you should. So then he goes, he shook his head, irritated, and stood. Fine. He walked across the room in quick, angry strides. I'll just go see what Chris is doing. I don't blame him, but that's a little petty, don't you think? Okie dokie, artichokes. Because my muscles are atrophying as we speak, I haven't done really anything in days. I am going to probably... I think I have this book on Kindle, so I might read this book while I'm on the treadmill. I'm literally going to walk on, like, 2.5 because, 1, my hair is still straight, and I am not going to ruin that. The best thing about being sick is that no one makes you go anywhere, and you can't possibly sweat your hair out. So I'm not going to waste my straight hair for this. And, wait, where did I start the sentence? Maybe I'll find it when I edit. But, yeah, I'm going to go and walk. Because I haven't done anything in days. So we're going to do that. And then we might finish this book on the treadmill. I only have like an hour left, I think. So we'll see. So finished it, took a walk in the process. It was a great time. I'm giving this book a solid 5 stars because it's a work of art. And even though, like, honestly, nothing happens in this book, it's just America running around saying that she doesn't trust Maxon, and then Maxon saying that she should trust him, and then him finally, you know, finding the cojones to tell her off. The 5 stars is for that one moment when he tells her off and when he kicks her out of the America's Next Top Model house. Now, granted, he doesn't kick her out. His father does, because he's still smitten. He's still whipped like no other. And I have to take off points for that, but it still is a 5-star read. Yeah, like I said, I gave it 5 stars because he told her off. And so what happened in the interim between when I last updated you? I have no clue. So they had another rebel attack. Oh, America decided to implement her idea because they're supposed to do like a philanthropy project. And this philanthropy project, I didn't say any R's then, was America saying that she thinks the caste system should go bye-bye, which, yeah, it should. It should go bye-bye. But she said that on live television, and people didn't like that, especially the king. So then the king decides to say, hey, yo, girlie, you need to leave. Maxon's like, yo, dad, I can make my own decisions. You're not my real dad. But he is his real dad. And so then while America's like sulking and like, you know, trying to go to the gardens, there's a rebel attack. And she sees Maxon during this, and they end up having to bunker down together. And she sees that he has been caned by his father, and he's been getting beaten for years and years and years. And that he stood up to him knowing this would happen. So, like, you should be grateful, honey. Be grateful. And so they spend the night together. No nookie happens, which is probably why I gave it 3 stars in the past. Because I was weirdly obsessed with all of my characters, all my ships, like, having their like passionate night together, because I don't know. I was deranged. Now I would love a closed door moment. So I don't know what's wrong with me. Past, present, and future. America finally realizes that she really does love him, and she wants to put her hat in the ring and fight for this man. And she says, and she even says towards the end when she's like talking to Aspen, because he's like, okay, so now that you're leaving, we can be together. I'll come home soon and I'll propose to you. And she's like, hold up. Me with my tissue. She's like, hold up. Take a second. Just because I'm not with him doesn't mean you get me. He's like, but I'm the only option. And she's like, think about that. Think about that. So you cannot say that America doesn't have a single brain cell in her skull. She has one. It's really trying to fight to stay warm in there with no one else to canoodle with. And yeah. So you end the book with her feeling hopeful that she can shut her mouth for long enough to be a good candidate for the princess. And that's this book. Like I said, I gave it 5 stars. Next. Hello, everybody. Good morning. I woke up quite some time ago and I edited a video, my worst books of the year. Hope you enjoy. And got some reading done, 100 pages into The One. And in 100 pages, we've already had like 3 fights with America and Maxon. So it's going great for them. And if you wanted an update on how I'm feeling, I no longer feel like roadkill, so editing Ashley Hannah put some cheering in right there, because it's amazing. So I feel great by the standards of this video when we first started. So 100 pages in, we've gotten a little bit more of the first page, literally, there's like an attack from the rebels, and mostly it's the southern rebels, making a mess and being violent, and then we have the northern rebels who have come to Maxon and America, and they want their leader of their rebel group is technically the rightful king, and he is an Ilia, so he is the direct descendant of who should have the throne, but they don't actually want him on the throne. They're like, we could not care less. They really want Maxon on the throne, but they want him to choose America as the princess, as the queen, and so that caused a kerfluffle because Maxon's like, don't tell me what to do. And, so we have a bunch of rebel-focused plot lines happening. And now, what's happening now? Oh, America and Maxon are going to go, like, incognito to go see, I think, the rebels, I believe. This book, the series in general, I must have, skipped all of the bits about the rebellion and the whole community of this place called Ilia. All that went right over my head, so I'm enjoying relearning about this place. And I don't know how I'll rate this book. I gave it 4 stars when I first read it, so I don't know why I didn't give it 5, so we'll see. But I'm going to keep reading. I will definitely finish it by the end of the day. I forgot that a whole section of this book, not a whole section, a snippet, is like the girls having to practice their queenly abilities by sending men to prison. That's a little... I think that would actually make me quit, having to send people to prison. Well, how guilty are they? I think they're all guilty, so maybe I could do it. I don't know. Okay, so the name of this game for book 3 is basically Maxon's daddy-o, the king, does not like America Ferrera. So he is trying to sabotage her any chance he can get. And so at the convicting, he ends up... So all the girls have to sentence their prospective ne'er-do-wells to whatever time frame that they say they have in jail. So one person has 12 years, another person has another, and Adam, who comes up to America, says that he has life because he stole stuff for his daughters. And so America looks over at the king and he's like smirking because he's setting her up for failure because he knows that she's not going to want to do this, obviously, with the way that America is. And of course, America's going to put her America spin on things and cause a kerfluffle. So that's where we are right now. Also, the fact that there are still 4 girls in this competition, stupid. I know that Maxon is supposed to make a decision when there's 3 girls left, but honestly, we've been with these girls for way too long, and also a lot of this book is just Maxon and America tiptoeing around saying they love each other, because honestly, Maxon has said this before, if she just, like, let down her walls and got vulnerable for a second and said she loved him, he would stop the entire competition and propose to her. So really, this is on her. And, like, she has little inner monologues that are, like, when they're together, they have moments where she feels like he's going to say something, and then he says something that's, like, that worms around the fact that he loves her and is, like, hinting at her to say, just say you love me. And she's like, oh, no, I'm not saying this first. So, honestly, her pride will be her downfall. Like, I know it won't because I've read this before, but it will be her downfall. Ooh. Good golly, Miss Molly. The book has finally started, and we are at page 292. We're almost done with this bad boy. And so much happened within the last, I don't know how many pages. Mostly, the most important thing to note is that so American Maxon had another fight. I don't know. They're just teenagers who fight and don't know what they want. And they made up, and they're like having a kissy moment, and a guard comes in and says, sorry, but your dad's dead. And me, first of all, I've read this before. Even still, I misread it, and I thought that Maxon's dad had died, the king, and I was like, whoa, party. And then it was like, no, it was America's dad who died. So not only can I not read, but I can't remember. And so her dad's dead, and so she goes back for the funeral, takes Aspen and Lucy, her maid, with her, and then you find out during the process of the funeral stuffs that America's father was a northern rebel, and he's the one who leaked all the stuff to the rebels, to the northerners. And, I also forgot, did I mention that King Shreve says, before all this happens, that to accept America as a potential wife for his son, she needs to say some things and be the poster girl for this propaganda in which he wants all of the people, all the castes, to agree to not mingle. He basically wants segregation. She's like, no, we can't do that. And so then he gives Maxon an ultimatum and says, if she doesn't do this, you can't pick her. So that's happened. And then we're at America's home, and her dad is like, her dad has sent letters to the kids. And in one of those letters, he's like, sorry, my dear, for stealing that book from Maxon's library and giving the information to the rebels. So there's that. And then you find out that Coda, America's older brother, knew about her relationship with Aspen and threatens to tell Maxon about it, even though why would he believe him? So this happens, and so then that kind of forces America's hand. She's like, I gotta tell him. And so then she goes back to the castle, and Maxon has all but sent everyone home. He has sent Celeste and Elise packing, but then all the other girls come back because that means we're down to the final 2, and he's going to announce his engagement tomorrow. And so America and Maxon have a nice little night together. Nothing happens, really. There's some heavy petting, during which they profess their love for each other. And America's still like, man, I really got to tell him about my relationship with Aspen. That needs to be known. And then, the morning after, Aspen comes in and finds them in a state of undress. And he's like, oh, sorry, sir. And then Maxon leaves.
And then America and Aspen have this whole thing where they're like, where Aspen's like, I didn't think you'd sleep with him. And she's like, I didn't sleep with him, I promise. And they get too close. So then when Maxon comes up the rear with Chris, because there was a stupid reason, he sees them and then he jumps to conclusions and is like, I knew it. I knew this was going to happen. This is his worst fear. Telling somebody that he loves them and saying, I would give you the world, and then having them go, haha, I didn't actually like you. And so it's just all very dramatic. And this is why I love this series. This drama, I could eat it with a spoon. So then he's like, get out of my sight. You're going home. Pack your bags. I'm marrying Kris Jenner. And, so now we are at the wedding, or we're at the announcement, and he's about to announce, and he's being really mean. Prince Maxon is acting like his daddy. But I will say that Maxon, before their heavy petting session the night before, he went up to her room to give her some gifts because it was just Christmas. And he gives her what looked like just a picture of a nice house and some letters. And the picture of the nice house is really the picture of the house that he bought for her family since, her dad has just passed and they're going to need some help. So he bought her and her family property. Ladies, get you a man who will buy you property. Love. And then the letters were also very beautiful. There was a line. Where is it? I'm gonna risk losing my place just so I can read this, because I feel like it needs to be read. I didn't take any notations because it's not that deep. So basically, one of these passages in his letter says, "You are not the world, but you are everything that makes the world good. Without you, my life would still exist, but that's all it would manage to do." I love a bluntly romantic letter. I don't need the frill that says you're gonna die if you don't have me, because obviously you won't. But I need to know that your life is better with me in it. So I think that's just so cute. So cutie! Okay, so I'm gonna read the rest of this book. I have, I think half an hour left of reading time in this book, so maybe less than that. So we're gonna get it poppin'. Y'all, tell me why it's like I've never read this series before in my entire life. That ending was bananas. Okay, so let me tell you all the things that happened. So, right on that same page that I left you on, 292, Celeste, shot in the head by the rebels. Of course, the Southern rebels. What? I forgot that happened. Then all the rebels are trying to take Maxon because he's the next king. He's the next in line. And they shoot him in the shoulder. America's convinced he's dead. Aspen takes her to a safe room and she stays in there. And then what happens? Then she's not sure if Aspen's still alive. And then all this stuff happens. And then after she gets out of the safe room, Gavril, a.k.a. Caesar Flickerman, comes into the room and he's like, yo, I'm so glad you're okay. We need to take you to the infirmary. And then you find out Aspen's okay. He's also been sweet on Lucy, the maid, not Anne or Mary. I can't remember. Also, I think Anne died. So, poor Anne. Rip. And then what happens? Oh. Then you find out Maxon is alive and well. Thank goodness. Because then you find out that Maxon's mom and dad have passed. And honestly, we only pour one out for Queen Amberly because she really was a real one. We're really excited that King Shreve is dead. I don't even know what his name was. I didn't even care to learn it the second time through reading this book. And then Maxon's like, I'm so glad that you're alive and will you marry me? Bada bing, bada boom. It's over and the book is done. I now understand why I gave this series 5 stars, well, respectively. 5 stars to the first one, I gave the second book 3 stars, and I gave the fourth book 4 stars. I've had to redo my rating system for this book because I've made peace with the fact that I think this book is crap, but I also think it's worth 5 stars, all 3 of them. So, yeah, 5 stars for the Selection series. It really is. It will be classic literature in the near future. Mark my words, this and Twilight will be classics in the future. So yeah, if you enjoyed this journey with me, give this video a like or a thumbs up. If you made it all the way to the end, I have no idea how long this video is. It is north of 30 minutes, so thanks for staying with me. And if you have any other books, any other classic YA that you'd like me to either reread, because I've probably read them already, or read for the first time, let me know down below. And subscribe, and oh yeah, you can be so happy because over the course of these 3 days, I think I did kick my sickness. So I feel great. All right, later, skaters.